how-tos. Today I'm going to be showing you how to actually make jerky out of venison. So what I got here is a frozen venison roast, and I let it sit out for about 2 hours just to let it soften. It's still hard as a rock, but at least now I can work it with the knife. Grace loves it. She's going to eat some of this. So once you get it soft enough, you should be able to put a knife in there. I like to start in the middle and then pull it down. That way I don't cut my hand off. And we're just going to cut this into strips. And then once you have it in the pieces like this, you're going to want to cube it into about 1 inch by 1 inch strips. It's okay if you make them a little smaller, but we're thinking in terms of jerky, so this is actually going to really condense down as it starts to cook. So I want strips like that. And what I'm going to do next is, after I get this entire thing cut up, I'm going to go ahead and put this into a bag and start with the marinade. So here I got my final pieces. So this is actually 2 roasts that I got out of my dare. I'm going to say it's probably 2 to 3 pounds worth, but these are frozen cubes. And then the next thing I'm going to do is actually just mix a marinade. So what I'm going to do is let these thaw overnight in a bag in a marinade. So my marinade is going to be pretty simple. What I'm looking to do is just kind of put some spices in there and some things that are going to actually help draw out the blood from the deer meat overnight, but also give them a little bit of seasoning. So we're going to start with some Worcestershire sauce and put a little bit of that. Now, I'm not a recipe guy where I follow anything. I just kind of mix stuff and look at what I want as far as, I guess, measurements are concerned. So this is Worcestershire. Soy sauce, not a big soy sauce fan, but I think when it comes to jerky, you have to have a little bit of that in there for the flavor. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a good amount of pepper, because I do want some pepper seasoning. Salt's key, because salt is actually what starts to break down the meat. That helps with the enzyme part of the meat. Garlic powder, put that in there, good amount. And then what I have here is an actual Memphis dry rub. Basically, ingredients that I'm looking at here are sugar, corn syrup, paprika, salt, spices, a little more garlic and onion powder, and less than 2% of sunflower oil. So I'm going to put a good amount of that in too. Because kind of what I want out of this is that I want this little mixture to be in there, and then I'm going to add water to this and just get the water so that it's soluble, so that everything that's in there is mixed in well. I'm going to go ahead and grab a fork here. And just mix that around. So now I got a nice little marinade that I'm going to put into the bag with the meat. So I have my marinade ready. I got all my meat in the bag here. I'm just going to go ahead and pour this in. You can see it's just, it's not submerged, but I'm going to Ziploc this up, put it in the refrigerator. I'm not going to have it in for 24 hours. I'll probably end up having it in for about 15 to 16 hours before I actually start smoking this tomorrow. But what I'll do is I will rotate the bag periodically for the next couple hours, and then in the morning I'll flip it again. So just kind of make sure the meat is submerged and then it's getting covered with all that juice, and that's really going to be part of how we actually marinate the meat. Being that it is 8 a.m., it's actually still pretty cold. It's mid-February in Ohio, so there's actually a layer of frost out there. But I got my smoker going already. I don't know that the cold's going to impact the smoke that much today. It's going to be a long smoke, and we're going to try to keep the temp between 170, 200 degrees the entire day. So 2 keys that I always play with when I'm smoking is wood chips. So here I got a little cherry wood. Bought this at Walmart. I should put a link to a cherry that I've used before for Amazon. You could buy. But I always put this down here on this bottom pan. Pan's right over the flame. This will start that up. Now, my smoker is also very old. I've used it forever. As you can see, it's well seasoned inside here. And actually, my little temperature knob melted at some point. We had a little fire. So for me, I have to just look at the flame when I'm making my adjustments to see if I want it lower or higher. So it's a little bit different from mine as far as the flame goes, but you want to just play with that temperature until you find the right temp to work with. Second key I always do is fill my water pan. And even with something like today, I'm probably going to have to come back and refill this mid-smoke. Always keep this in here. Just even if you're trying to dry out meat, keeping it moist is going to keep it to be tender. So even though we want it dry, we want it tender. So I think for what I'm going to be doing here, I want my shelving a little different as well. I'm going to try to hang this jerky instead of just laying it in strips. So I'm going to take out this middle one, and then I'm going to be hanging everything off of these 2 racks, and then midway through I'll probably switch the racks if I can't get all of them on that top rack. Looking at my jerky, this is after 12 hours, 13 hours maybe of the marinade. You can see that meat has definitely gotten darker, it's more tender, it's not frozen anymore. So what we're working with there. And then I also have some skewers that I'm going to use to put through the meat and hang off of the racks. So I'm actually going to do that process separately, but I'm just going to pretty much poke the top of each piece of this meat and put it through the little grates here and then have it hanging here. So we'll show that in a second. Okay, so as you can see, I got everything skewered up there. So just went across the grates on top. I tried to leave a little gap on top with the venison there so it'd hang on a little bit as it starts to cook. I also kept this tray underneath here just in case any pieces fall, they get caught, and we could just restring them up. So you see there, I was able to get everything on top. I got about 5 rows worth. And then again, temperature, we're looking to get 170 to 200. And I'm thinking that it's going to take between 6 and 10 hours to keep that temperature up and to keep everything going. Smoke's down there. It should start to light here once I close the door. And I just like to monitor my temperature throughout the day. So I'll stop out here periodically, about every half hour to hour, just to make sure that the temperature is going. And I'm probably not going to see a need to actually rotate any of these just because I have pretty even heat within this smoker as I go. So, and this smoker too is the Smoke Vault. I've had this for a couple years. I'll link to this on Amazon. This is a great little smoker. Comes in I think 3 different sizes. And this is the medium size. The thing you get difference is a little bit of depth and width with the bigger one. So just gonna keep an eye on that temperature, and we'll see how they're looking throughout the day. We are 2 hours into this smoke, and you can see my temperature is hovering right there around 160, 170. It's fluctuating with the temp outside. It's getting a little bit warmer out here, but we're only looking at a high of about 40 today. So just open this up, take a look at what we got going on. You can see they're already drying up pretty nice. Very soft still, pliable. You can move them a little bit. So right where we want them to be, drying out. Water looks good. The only thing that, smoke ran out, so I might add a little smoke now. I actually might wait a little bit. I don't like to put too much smoke on them because if we're going to season them later, we don't want it to be overpowered with smoke flavor. So this is about 2 hours in. We got probably, I'd like to say, another 8 to go until these are where I want them to be. So the size of these should reduce by at least half. They should get a lot smaller in size. So that's where we're at. We are at the 6 hour mark, so we're just gonna take a look inside here, see what we got going. A lot smaller in size. We've lost a lot. It's a lot stiffer, but I can still squeeze it a little bit, so it's still a little pliable. Definitely want that to come down. You can see the size from this morning has been reduced a lot, if not over half already. So it's getting there. I just want it to be a little bit harder than it is right now, so a couple more hours I'm thinking on this. I am at 8.5 hours here. Take a look inside, and you can see that we have significantly reduced the size since this morning. So I'm touching it too, it's also a lot harder now. So I'm actually going to call this it and say that this looks done to me. So I'm pulling these off here. We'll let the rack cool a little bit, pull these off, and then I'll have them on a plate. We'll take a look at them from there. So here's the final product here. Everything looks really good. It's right where I wanted it to be, hardness wise. It's good preserved jerky. Grace, what do you think?
No.
No, she doesn't like it at all. So that's the final product. Pretty happy with the way the brine turned out. Pretty salty, which is just what I would like on my jerky.
No.
So next time, try something different. Might sauce them from here, put some barbecue or sriracha on top of them when we take them out to go eat with them. So jerky, good for anything, hunting, fishing. Good little protein snack as well. So that's how we smoke our deer jerky. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out some of the other videos. And thanks for subscribing to the channel. Appreciate it.